I'm gonna go get a chair.
You have a chair?
No, but I need. Oh, I do have a chair. Fuck, that's awesome. It was like my prayers were answered right away.
There.
All right. So what? This is episode 10.
Yeah.
Right. Episode 10. Okay. So
Related
episode
to
10.
X.
Episode X. So does that mean the next episode is episode XS?
Oh, come on, bro.
Or XR?
XR.
Yeah. The next episode will have a red back or a blue back.
Yeah. Or it'll be episode X Jaguar, and then Tiger,
and then Tiger,
and then Puma or whatever. I don't know. Snow Leopard.
Will be episode Snow Leopard. Yeah. I think that's what we should call this one. Because we have like a unicorn here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a guest today. So anyways, this is episode 10. I'm Manny Fresh. Here with
Why the unicorn reference?
Here with F Coast because I think pro gamers are like unicorns.
Why?
Because how many do you know? How many do you know?
That's so
I mean, I know. Okay, so if you're
you just came up with that.
No, I didn't. I've known this for my whole life. If you play a lot of video games, then you know a lot of pro gamers. But like, how many do you know? Like, how many do you know that are in your circle of people that you talk to? There aren't too many.
No.
And,
I actually don't know any.
No.
This is my first experience.
This is your first experience with one?
With talking to a professional.
Awesome. So with that, we have a guest today. Want to introduce Alan to the show. Alan is not a pro anymore, right? So you're casual now?
Yeah, casual.
Casual scum. Okay, so Alan is casual scum like F Coast and myself, retired. And we're gonna talk to Alan.
I never
today.
retired.
Well, you retired from being a pro gamer.
Because I was never a pro gamer.
You don't remember that one day that you were the pro gamer?
No.
There was never that one day that you're like, you know what, today I'm a fucking pro gamer. No? Okay, all right. So maybe that was just me thinking that. So yeah, the show today is really about talking to Alan and getting some feedback from him about what it's like to be competing professionally on a very high level. It's something that I'm interested in knowing, like what it's like today. I have my own experiences from back in the day. And I think one of the things that anybody listening to the podcast is going to take out of this is being a pro gamer or being a pro anything. There are some common threads to doing this, right? It takes a lot of time.
Yep.
It takes a lot of dedication. And it takes a lot of saying, fuck you, I'm not going to go do that to friends and family. Because unfortunately, the downside of it, I think, is you end up pushing away like a lot of aspects of your life in order to dedicate yourself to this game.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you want to do with your life. I mean, we just got through the Game Awards, right? Our last episode was on the Game Awards. And I'm going to let Alan chime in on this because I'm interested in hearing like what you thought about the content creators and Ninja in particular. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that was on the deck was, you know, who the best content creators were. And F Coast and I had our different opinions about that. But I think we both landed on either Ninja or Pokemon, right?
Yeah. My vote was for Ninja, your was for Pokemon.
For Pokemon, yeah. But all the players that were nominated, or all the users,
the content creators.
The UCG, the content creators that were nominated were Fortnite players.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's a common theme today, right, is Fortnite. So, Alan, what do you think about Fortnite right now being the game that... well, first of all, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us about your background.
I was going to say that.
We'll give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself, and then we'll get into some really ridiculous, idiotic questions about Fortnite.
Yeah, no worries, man. So, my name is Alan Valenzuela. I'm from Guatemala, but I came to the United States when I was 4 and pretty much grew up here in Miami, lived Miami my whole life. And I fell in love with gaming, I would say, with Star Fox, man. I played that game over
that's so cool.
and over and over again. And then, you know, as you go on through the consoles, N64 was Mario Kart, Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
That's when I got my first taste of competitive. Like, hey, I want to be better than this guy. Yeah. And I'm going to put in the work and, like, study videos and players to, like, you know, get there. And eventually one day, I'll never forget, I was at Publix And I looked at...
of all places.
I was at Publix and I saw a magazine. I think it was like Game Informer or something. And I saw on a cover something MLG, Major League Gaming. And I was like, oh, what is this? I'm interested in this. Like, Major League Gaming, is that like the NFL or like the NBA? Like, what? For video games? I love video games.
That's cool.
So I really looked into it. And it was a league that was primarily focused on Halo. So I had missed all the Halo 1 days.
Right.
And then I started playing Halo 2. And, you know, I got into it. I wasn't good enough. I never went to a tournament in the beginning. And then one day in 11th grade, throughout the FCAT, you know, I didn't have to take the FCAT because I had just done it the year before.
Right.
So we were at the lunchroom and some kid brought his Xbox and we were playing Halo 2.
Nice.
And I owned everybody.
Ooh.
I owned everybody that day. And that kid that actually brought his Xbox, he was like, hey, man, like, do you go to MLG? Do you play professionally? So he was very well educated on it. And he kind of showed me the ropes. He showed me the strategies behind what it takes to be a pro gamer. It's not just run around with your head cut like a chicken. Right. There was positions that you want to hold. There are things that you have to time, like the weapons, the rockets, the banana.
The banana peeler. Yeah.
So you have to time. You want to control those things to get your advantage to win the match. And I was like, wow, he blew my mind. I'm like, okay, wow, like I want to learn. I want to compete. And coincidentally, in that month, they came to Orlando. So I went to my first Halo tournament ever in Orlando. It was like 2007. It was 2007. And I actually did really good.
Nice.
They had a free-for-all tournament, and I had no experience. And I made it in
It was deathmatch?
Yeah, it was just free-for-all. Basically, every round consists of 8 people, and the top 4 advance to the next round. And there was, until the finals, there's about 14 rounds. So there's a lot of players. And I made it right outside the top 32. It was probably top 64. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I can do this. And I went with a couple friends. They weren't that great, so we didn't make it far with the whole team aspect of it. Yeah. But then I started researching on local tournaments. On Sunset Mall, have you guys ever seen this? Remember Scorpico? It was a LAN center in Sunset Mall.
You're talking Sunset by University of Miami?
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
There used to be a LAN center, and they used to host tournaments. And I used to go and win. And I was like, okay, I'm really good. So slowly but surely, I connected with a lot of people, and I ended up making a really good team. Just all Miami-based guys, right? It was me, Synox, Exile, and Wing Splitter. And we just completely went from unknown people, underdogs, to one day there was this big tournament, right? And it was when the Wii came out. I'll never forget. I really wanted that Wii, but the winners all took a Wii. And at the moment, have you ever seen a TV show called True Life? I'm a professional gamer.
Yes, I've seen that.
Do you remember T Squared? There's a guy named T Squared, but it's all about Halo, right?
Yeah.
So that guy, he was big. He came to that tournament, and he came to that tournament with people that were established, that everybody knew. Nobody knew us, but people knew them. And we took it to them, bro. We dominated them. We took it to them because we put a lot of hours. We practiced a lot. We knew each other. You create a bond. That's another thing that it takes. You have to really bond with your teammates. I have your back. You have my back. You create that bond. And we won, and that put us on the map. And then after that, we started going to tournaments, and we started doing really well. We started getting offers from... I wouldn't say it was big offers because it was in the premature stage of what professional gaming is nowadays. Nowadays, people, what's that card game that you like?
Hearthstone?
Yeah. That's $1 million.
Yeah. Colleges are giving scholarships for Hearthstone.
Exactly. Yep. So back then, I feel like I was born too early. It was more of the premature era where, first place is $2,000, $1,000. Come on, man. Yeah. Now, I wish it was $1 million back then. But yeah, we got our name on the map, and I fell in love with gaming, and I got as far as I can honestly say I was pro at Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, and there was another Halo before Halo 5. Oh, Halo 4?
So Halo 4, yeah.
Yeah, and Halo 4. I could honestly tell you I was professional in all those games. And then after that, I just had to retire. Put joysticks. And, that took it a little easy, and now I'm on Overwatch.
Okay.
Question: your team had a name?
Yeah, we were actually crowd control. So apparently, there's a story behind that. I think it has to do with World of Warcraft.
Yeah. So crowd control is what you do when, usually, if you're running a dungeon or a raid, and you are pulling a lot of enemies. One of the things that you're gonna do is, you're gonna pull enough enemies that your group can handle, and the ones that you can't, you have the hunters and the mages and the warlocks either fearing, sleeping, sheeping, stunning, silencing, all those things that you do to kind of remove enemies from the equation. We call that crowd control.
Okay, so see, I didn't understand the term. One of my other teammates actually came up with the name, but the reason he came up with it was because we were always an animated group of individuals. Most people just sit there and they're in the game like this, but we would talk so much trash. We would stand up, curse.
Is it because you guys were you guys all Hispanic?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that might have had a little bit to do with it. You know,
and you know, it was to a point where one of the tournaments where we really shined, and we ended up getting, I believe, 17th place out of like almost 500 teams, and it was one of our big, tournaments that were after we beat the T-Squared on those guys,
right?
Where we really shined. And I'll never forget, there was this one moment where we were playing a team called Storm Ventures, and they had been on TV. They were very well known, established players. And there's this one guy named Fonzie, right? And I'll never forget Oddball, which is the objective is you carry that little skull.
Yeah, I love Oddball.
So I was carrying the little skull, and I was the last guy alive. And I just turned around, did a 360, beat him down, and killed him. Oh. And I just stood up in the middle of everything. I said, "You fucking suck!" And everybody lost it. It was one of the best moments in my life because everybody was dead. It was just 1-on-1 for like.
And he has a weapon, obviously.
And he has a weapon.
And you are walking. Oddball, when you have the ball, you're walking. You can't run. You're like slow. It's like it's.
You don't have you don't have an advantage. You have to drop it, but I didn't drop it. I just went around the corner and came back and just beat him down. It was priceless, but man, we ended up doing really good, and so the name Crowd Control stuck because most of the crowd we were all from Miami. We went to a lot of LANs. Yeah. So what LANs are is, I'm pretty sure you guys know, it's a get-together. It's like a party for everybody. Bring your Xbox, bring your TV, bring some beer, let's order some pizza, and let's play for 3 days nonstop, right? Yeah. And in the LANs, we were always the guys to beat, but no one would ever beat us because I mean, they would, have to be a little humble, they would, but they wouldn't beat us every game.
We talked a little bit about LAN parties, a few episodes ago. My favorite memory of LAN parties was when Halo 1 was like really popping off, and we were, we weren't pros or any stretch of the imagination, but we were trying to get good. We would put 4 Xboxes together at my friend's house, and we would have, this is how many people we had. So 4 Xboxes, we had 16 people playing Halo 1 in a house. Man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. A group in each room, and a group in the kitchen, a group in the living room, a group
that's exactly how we did it.
Because that's how you do it. And, the same thing, we would order pizza and whatever. And the names that my friends would pick for their characters were ridiculous. Like, my friend Nick, some of these names are like really stupid, but like my friend Yo-Yo, his name was AIDS. So when he killed you, it says you were killed by AIDS. Yeah.
I have a friend that did the same thing. They did a whole team, and it's not funny.
It's not funny.
They were like, you were killed by AIDS.
But it's fucked up. Yeah, it's really fucked up. But like they were doing it to be humorous, but we're not saying that it's funny. We're just saying that like it's a thing.
It is funny.
Yeah,
it is funny.
It's humor.
It's cynical. But
well, I'll give you another perspective. I have another friend. His name was Donkey Dick. So when you were killed by Donkey Dick, and it's like. It was just insulting in a way. But that was also part of the fun.
Wordplay on when you kill a character, you fill it with. I remember my friend you were killed by your mom. Or like
your mom, Oh man, your mom was all over the place in the original Halo days. Like whenever you would do like, I remember playing a lot of Battle Creek back in the day. And Battle Creek, where the banana peeler was at the top of the bridge, right at the top of the arch. The arch. As soon as the game starts, everybody's racing to the top of the arch. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to the battle rifle and I'm going to just kill everybody that runs up there. Yeah. And it's like, I'm watching your mom 1, your mom 006, your mom 005. I'm like, all these guys picked the same name.
My favorite was Chancleta. You got beat down by a Chancleta.
That's so good.
Yes, that was, oh my God.
That's good.
I do remember doing the LAN parties at my place, but we used to play Doom 2 or Doom, the first Doom that had multiplayer. But I do remember Quake and this other game, Unreal Tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Headshot. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
And we used that, but it was PC. Yeah. And back in the day, it was those CRT screens.
Yeah, the CRT monitor. The tubes.
Yeah, they were like not very big. But everybody carrying fucking.
But they were heavy.
Yeah, they were heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
And then carrying the box, the computer.
Yeah.
And the monitors and
the controllers.
Heavy ass
and then the thing
keyboards.
that connects all the controllers to make it a LAN thing. Forget it. It was like a lot.
At the end of the day, it was so worth it though, because those were the best times.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like a Wi-Fi LAN party.
Yeah.
It was like we had a switch or a router.
Hooking up all the cables
in, and somebody was in the dining room. Somebody else.
And there was always that one
kitchen.
There was always that one guy that would trip over the
Oh yeah,
everything else.
Yeah. Pedro.
Yeah, Pedro. I can't believe Pedro did that.
So good.
But yeah.
Hey, another question, because I don't know if you maybe I missed it, but your handle. What was your handle?
Xambler. So I was primarily known as Xambler.
With an X.
With an X. Yes.
Xambler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Sometimes I throw in the 3. Instead of an E, a 3.
Yeah, 3. Switch it up. Yeah, Xambler. Yeah.
Somebody took my gamer tag, so I have to.
Cool. So we're here today with Xambler. Really,
yeah.
Alan is some other guy. Xambler is the guy that we want to talk to.
Well, I'm wondering if we've ever told our real names in the show now.
Well, everybody knows my name's Manny.
Well, Manny Fresh, yeah. I don't know mine. Okay, anyways.
Your real name's Tigre. But yeah, talk a little bit, Alan / Xambler. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about, in preparing for those tournaments, right? There's things that you do, you practice and stuff like that. And it's also not just practicing, but it's a mindset.
Yeah.
And you talked a little bit about it. You said your team was really close. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you guys get close? I mean, you guys met playing Halo, or you guys were all friends already? Because you told me that some of your friends didn't play. And so.
We all met playing Halo. My primary team, we all met playing Halo. We didn't know anybody. The first guy I met was Synox. His name was Synox. I met him I went to a tournament, and he was actually really good. He really impressed me. So, I normally didn't ever do this. I went up to him and I would ask him, hey, what's your gamer tag? I want to add you on Xbox. So I added him on Xbox, and, we linked up, and we didn't play right away. And coincidentally, in matchmaking, we were like around the same rank. We got matched up, and I saw his name, and I was like, hey, weren't you the guy I played with today? And we partied up, and no lie, we were unstoppable that night. It was just me and him, and we just destroyed everybody that night. So we're like, hey, let's play together from now on. So then we went to a 2v2 tournament, right? Me and him. So it was me and Synox. And in the finals in the 2v2 tournament for Halo, we played 2 guys called Pyro and Exile. They're brothers. They're one of my really close friends now. They're amazing people. So we played them in the 2v2, and they really took it to us. They beat us. They beat us. And it was a really close game, but they were doing things that I had never seen before. They were doing strategies, and one guy would run away, the other guy would pop out, and we would never do things like that. We would just run together and double team everybody, but these guys were baiting us. They were baiting us into situations, and that's when I realized, wow, there's way more.
It caught your attention.
It caught my attention. So we started playing with them, and Pyro was more of a recreational, and Exile was more of the competitive gamer. So it was just me, Pyro, Exile, and Synox, and we ended up linking with a guy that was really, really good friends of all of ours. We met him playing as well. We saw him, he was a guy that would consistently show up to tournaments, and every tournament he would do better and better and better. And his name was Wig Splitter. And he really complimented our team really well, because he was more of the guy that would just stand back and cover us. He put shots on everything, and we were more of the aggressive guys, and we just meshed well together, and we started playing together ever since. And it was really fun. But a lot of the things we did, we wouldn't only just play. We would go out and eat. Sometimes you would go out and run. Mm-hmm. Not everybody wanted to do it. Me being one of those guys, I didn't want to wake up and go for runs. Yeah. But we would do other things besides play Halo. Just because it helps with the teamwork and bonding and all that. But for the most part, it was just mostly going over strategies and learning from your mistakes. There were a lot of games that we lost, and we would get mad at each other. We would straight up blame each other. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? But it wasn't really to hate on the person. It was more next time, don't do that. Now you can't do this. Everybody, let's learn from this guy's mistake. And instead of taking it personal, which most people would probably take like, oh, these guys think I'm not good, or these guys think I suck. You really want to grow from those experiences.
Exactly.
And point out those mistakes because it's going to make you a better player.
Yeah, that's smart.
So we were really harsh on each other, and that's, that helped a lot. And we gamed a lot, man. We would, our usual routine, so let's say tournament was 3 months away. 8 weeks prior to that tournament, we would, and I was in high school, so I didn't really have to work or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You have to not have a job. Like we said earlier,
different times,
dedication, and a lot of time. And we didn't need to sacrifice a lot of things. I didn't have a girlfriend, but 2 guys had girlfriends, and they had to really hey, for the next 2 months, I have to focus on this. And obviously they still spend their time with their girlfriends, but not as much as they normally would. But our day consisted of, we would wake up around 11 in the morning, go for a run, eat some food. It's a weird hour, so it's not really breakfast, it's not lunch. It's brunch, I guess.
It's a brunch.
And then we would...
A guy brunch.
Exactly. So we would play from about 1 in the afternoon to about 8 o'clock at night. That was a good 7-hour session. Yeah. And then we would take about a 3 to 4 hour break, and then play again from midnight to about 5 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And the reason we would do that is because at that time, a lot of the players that were really good were West Coast or, Central Time. So they get on 11 o'clock at night, midnight. But for us, East Coast, that's 3 in the morning. So we would wait for those guys to get on and scrim against people that were really known. We would scrim against a final boss like Ogre 2, 5K, Hokum, Lunchbox, all these guys. And whoever listens to this podcast will be like, man, I remember those guys. Straight ripping. We would scrim against a lot of teams, and it made us stronger. It really made us stronger. We were playing against a high level of players.
Yeah. Where
our matches, we didn't get destroyed, so they would want to play against us. We actually challenged them. I'm not gonna say we beat them every time, because if not, I would be professional. I'd be right now ninja. I'd be a ninja. But we kept it close, and we kept it interesting. So obviously the time was paying off. Putting in all those hours and all that work was really paying off. We just weren't some random guys. But for the most part, that's what our sessions consisted of, and a lot of game planning. We would print out pictures of the maps, but bird's eye view of the maps.
Yeah.
And we would pretty much come up with our own strategies. Everyone has a generic strategy, but we would have flashcards or little pictures of the maps, and pretty much say, okay, when I'm here on the bridge or a midship, I don't know if you ever played at Halo. But
no, not really.
You would want to control P1, P2, P3. Those are callouts. Those are it's a tower, Pink Tower 1, Pink Tower 2, Pink Tower 3. You'd want to control those things, and we'd go over scenarios okay, if I'm here, you need to be here, and then they're going to spawn here. That's another aspect of the game, is controlling the spawn. You want to hold down areas, so then the teammates, the opponents spawn where you want them to spawn. You can predict where they're going to be, and then you're ready for them. You come right away. Mm-hmm. But some teams are really, really, really amazing at stopping that. They'll send 3 guys this way, but 1 guy the other way, and these 3 guys will distract you, and that 1 guy will sneak up around behind you and just completely break your set.
But in Halo, do you select where you want to spawn, or is it an automatic spawn?
It's random.
Yeah, it's random.
It's random. It's just so it's all based on the system doesn't spawn you near the enemy. Mm-hmm. So if you're controlling certain spots, it'll spawn you in a certain area always, continuously. So it's kind of really hard to overcome. Yeah, exactly. And as the game itself evolved, that completely changed, because now you play Halo 5. And they spawn right behind you, and you're standing there, and they'll literally spawn right behind you. So now the game's completely different, which is why I don't play. I like Overwatch way better. But yeah, that's what it took.
So, question: is any of your buddies want to continue being a pro, or?
I wouldn't say he's my buddy, but somebody that I know is Ninja. Mm-hmm. I played a lot with Ninja.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played a lot with Ninja back in the day.
He played Halo a lot.
A lot of people played with him back in the day. And he probably honestly doesn't remember me, but I did play against him a lot. My team practice scrimmed against him a lot, and he's really good at free-for-alls. Mm-hmm. So I would always play free-for-alls with him, and Look at him now.
Yeah.
Look at him
Well,
now.
I mean, he decided that he was going to create a platform and an entertainment,
So what's his
persona.
story? He actually was a pro player and he was going.
Yeah.
This whole time.
He was
really
playing
good.
MLG tournaments from a long time
Getting
ago.
top 8, top 4, even winning tournaments.
And then he just decided to be a content creator instead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, his success kind of preceded him. Like, he had a name. And so people, if you knew Ninja was coming to the tournament, I guess you would say, okay, well, we got, like, for example, the write-ups for the tournaments, like MLG, whatever, MLG Dallas will have a write-up for the tournament with all the teams and all the names and all the players and all the teams, right? And then they'll say, and, our favorite is Ninja because he won, the last tournament or whatever. So he kind of started getting a following from his name being kind of dropped all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you didn't play competitively, you knew who he was.
Yeah.
Because you knew that he was a good Halo player. And and I think he also played there's another first person shooter that I'm remembering now. It's God,
H1Z1?
H1Z1, right? H1Z1,
he played a lot of H1Z1 and then there was another one after that one, or was it Fortnite?
It might have been Fortnite.
No,
it wasn't
PUBG.
PUBG, that's what it was. PUBG, yeah.
PUBG. So H1Z, he went Halo, H1Z1,
PUBG, and then Fortnite. But he spent a hot minute on PUBG. I mean, he basically as soon as Fortnite came out, he started playing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so question about your friends. So you mentioned Wig Splitter. Did I hear 11?
There is a guy named 11 actually.
Okay.
I didn't mention him, but it's funny you bring him up. He was actually like a Halo 1 legend.
Yeah. So I remember. I mean, so those are my days. Right? I'm a
Halo 1
guy.
legend.
Like legend, like
Yeah.
He is a legend, or is there a Halo 1 legend called? Is there a game called Legend?
No. He's a legend.
He is a legend
of Halo 1.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when I thought I was good with a sniper rifle and the pistol. This guy made everybody look
this
like...
This guy 3-shot you every time. It's frustrating.
double tap, 3-shot. I mean, it was insanely good. The first time, and I'll be honest with you, playing online, the first time I ever got like zapped and then battle rifled like really quickly was playing, online. I had never seen that before.
The BXR. You're talking about the BXR, that glitch where like you get beat down and then you press XR and it skips the animation. Because you know how you beat down and then it animates back? It'll skip the animation and instantly go like that.
I had never seen that before.
And you were wondering, what the hell just happened?
What just happened to me? So I had to go online. Like, my friends and I were all playing, and we're like, we were playing against another, group of Mongoloids, and they come and they're doing all these, and we're like, we're getting hacked. Like, there's a hack happening, right? Like, this is bullshit. We're talking shit on the mic. You guys fucking hackers. And they're like, no, whatever, get good. And it was because it wasn't a hack, it was a glitch.
Yeah, they were exploiting
a glitch. And there were other glitches like that too. Like there was also
a ton. You can actually go online. I'm getting off
topic
a little bit. Not off topic, but you can go online. I've seen some speedruns of games like Dark Souls, Bloodborne. Yes. They're using the glitches in the game to go faster or do some stuff. So it's not a hack. It's just
it's just part of the game. Yeah. It's creative use of game mechanics.
It's creative.
That's what it's.
That's an interesting way.
So did you play with 11?
Yes, but not Halo 1.
Oh, not Halo 1.
I was fortunate enough to play like Halo 3 with him because he didn't like Halo 2. I actually teamed with him for a tournament in Halo 3 and Halo 4.
Nice.
And he was just as good, but just this different game.
It was a different game, different time.
Game.
Yeah.
They had jetpacks and you go from Halo 1 to jetpacks. You're just kind of wondering.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So,
but tell me more about your other teammates.
My other teammate was Synox. I love the guy.
Synox.
His girlfriend's pregnant. He's about to have.
There you go. I'm about to play another game called Life.
And Exile. Exile's
not the Sims though.
No.
Not Sims though. And Exile was the guy that I was telling you guys that he's really, really good at Fortnite. Maybe maybe he'll come to a future podcast.
Yeah, I would love to have Exile. And you mentioned one more, Broly.
Broly,
yeah.
Broly is one and all.
Is that your dog? Is that your boy?
Yes, he's actually Chris's roommate.
Oh, cool.
And I've known that guy since 2006, and he was another guy that I would see consistently at tournaments. And every tournament, he's just doing better and better.
Nice.
People like that stand out because there are people that just never get better. They just lose in the first or second round. But this guy was constantly getting better and better. And his biggest thing that he has on me is that he actually beat me at an MLG.
No.
Yes.
He was on a separate team.
Yeah, he was on a separate team. So I usually would always beat him in all the local tournaments in Miami. Like every tournament in Orlando, Broward, Miami, I would always own him and talk shit. And then
and talk shit.
MLG,
English or Spanish?
Both. And then finally in the MLG, you know, he took it to me, man. What can I say? It was a close game. We lost like 50-48 game 3, but he took it.
But it's smart because so far what I've heard, what I've been hearing is that whoever beats you, you get an interest in making it part of your team.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's like if he beats you, it's like, oh, this guy's good.
It's the Steve Jobs mentality.
Yeah.
you hire people that are smarter than you because that way you don't tell them what to do.
Exactly.
You know, you learn from them.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that any player is smarter or better.
Yeah.
You know, every dog has his day is what is the quote, right?
It's
So I
very
mean,
true, yeah.
you can have somebody that might be, you know, maybe an average player, but just happened to be on a tear, you know, that day and just went on a wild ride and had a good day. But again, it's about being consistent, and that's the hard part. And that comes with training and with practice and all those things. One other question for you. What was your team name again?
Crowd Control.
Crowd Control. Can you tell, who are the Florida Jackalopes?
That's another team. Okay, so the Florida Jackalopes.
I did a little research.
Yeah, did you? So the Florida Jackalopes were originally a Halo 1 team with 11 and Mando.
Okay, so that's where I heard 11.
That's where 11 comes from,
Gotcha.
Florida Jackalopes. So when we teamed with 11 for Halo 3, they brought back Florida Jackalopes and Sad Story. I used to be part of the Florida Jackalopes.
Oh, man.
But
I don't mean to bring up a source.
This is another part of gaming. It's like you said, every dog has its day, right? And if it's not your month, your teammates really lose faith in you.
Okay.
And there was a time in Halo 3 where I wasn't, I would say, as good or as dedicated as many other people that were around us.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up getting dropped from Florida Jackalopes.
Okay.
And on the team was HS Light King, which is another guy. That's another guy that's a legend. He's a Halo 2 legend, consistently made top 8 every time. He went to national championships, and he's actually another close friend of him. I mean, if you know, he could come to the podcast as well.
Yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is we're gonna have to have a live podcast, like a live stream podcast where we can all link up and do some mindless Diablo grinding or do some maybe even play some Overwatch as a team. You know, like a five man. It would be so much fun.
I'm super down.
You know what's funny though? Like here's something that I know to be extremely true, and our ex coworker, colleague of ours, JM, knows this better than anybody else because he tells me about his roommate all the time. If you know somebody that's playing competitively, they're on a different level than you right now, and it's all about getting better for them. So I wouldn't invite that type of person to play with us because we're gonna make them worse. Like they're gonna pick up our bad habits. You know, they're gonna. It's not. It would be fun for them, and if they would be open to doing that, I think that would be cool. But I know how serious they are, especially if you're trying to get your ranking up or get your rating up to play professionally. You want to play with the best players.
Yeah.
You know? And not only that, you want to play with the best players, but you also have this. And it seems like if you hear them playing, you think that they're pissed. You think that they're yelling at each other. But that's not even really the case. They're just so into it that they're why the fuck didn't you heal me when you're supposed to heal me? You know, why the fuck were you out of position?
Yes.
You know, I was over here waiting for you and you never showed up. So it's more about, that's how you build a team. Now, you can apply that to anything. Listen to soccer players talk to each other. Listen to baseball players talk to each other. They sometimes in order to wake your friend up out of a trance, you gotta yo, hey, what's going on, you know? Yeah. And it happens to all of us, and especially with video games, when you can literally be in the zone in a good way or a bad way. You know, in poker they call it being on tilt.
On tilt, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're on tilt, you should probably take a deep breath
and chill back
and chill a little bit. Yeah. You know, maybe not play every hand. Yeah. You know, or maybe step away from the table for a little bit.
In video games, I call it tunnel vision. Once you get tunnel vision, if you're in a match and this one person keeps pissing you off, and you'll make the dumbest decisions just to kill that one
just
guy.
to kill that
just
one
to
guy,
beat that one guy or whatever it is. And it'll satisfy you in the moment, but it's not good for the team.
Right.
You know, and I call that tunnel vision, man. And
that's like when you see somebody use an ultimate to just kill one guy.
Right? It's like, you could have done that so much more efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like there was no team synergy. I literally used my ultimate just to crush Nova because Nova's been pissing me off the whole game.
Yeah.
And that's not efficient. And then the rest of the team's gonna be like, dude, you just kind of like screwed our chances of actually winning. Because you were being it's kind of like being selfish a little bit.
Yeah.
And these team games are, by definition, team games where it's not about the individual effort of one person; it's about a cohesive effort. Yeah. So I think that it's interesting to me to always talk to anybody that plays competitively because that's the common thread I think is that you will find the best teams are the ones that can work the best together regardless of their skill level.
Yeah.
Let me pivot off that for a second though. So you play Overwatch too, right? Mm-hmm. So you started playing Overwatch on console and you switched to PC.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me the difference.
Huge. Like you were saying earlier, before I could barely turn around. With mouse and keyboard, it's instant. You just flick of the wrist, boom, you already do like a 360. You know?
What do you have your sensitivity at? Do you change it for each character, which you probably should, right?
I think you should, but I try not to because that's too many changes. Like I can't remember all those changes, so I mostly keep it generic. I keep it, I believe, in Overwatch just 8 sensitivity, but the DPI, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, the DPI.
I keep it at 800.
Okay.
So like 8 and 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
What?
And that
so
really
you can set up your DPI on the mouse?
Yeah, so I have like a Corsair Scimitar. So my Corsair Scimitar profile, my DPI is at 600. That's just the DPI that I like. And so my DPI is at 600, but my Widow sensitivity is like 12. But my like Pharah sensitivity is 8. No, like on the meter, there's like 50.
I think 16 or something like that. I don't even know.
No, wait, but
I've seen it as high as 30.
You have your sensitivity, right?
That's in-game. Yes. In-game sensitivity.
So you set up your DPI on your mouse?
Yeah, outside of the game.
With the mouse app?
With the mouse app, yeah. With the Corsair utility engine.
Because my mouse has, I don't know how much, like 10K DPI.
What kind of mouse do you have?
It's in like Alienware.
Yeah, you can set up your DPI with the Alienware app.
Oh,
yeah.
Shoot. So what a lot of pros do in Overwatch, I think they do max DPI, but then they do really low sensitivity, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But they do like max DPI, yeah. So they I don't know, I guess it works out for them. But it's the same thing. I guess it's just math. Like it's the same thing if you do the lowest DPI, but then you do 8 sensitivity. Yeah. It just depends on what you're more comfortable with. So
I have a pet peeve, which is, and I did this before because I read about how the pros do it. I'm like, I'm fucking pro. I'm gonna do this shit. So I went out there and I set my mouse DPI to like 1200 or some crazy shit like that, right? And then what happened is, like, I can't do anything with my fucking computer because as soon as I turn it on, my mouse is like flying across the screen everywhere. Yeah. So I decided to do the opposite, which was lowered my DPI a little bit because it's like default at 8 I think it's at 800. I think the default DPI is either 400 or something or 800. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I set it to 600, and then my in-game sensitivity is what I pull up. So that just seems to work for me, but everybody's got a different formula. And so tell me, Alan, what is your main? Who's your Overwatch main?
Oh man, so I did for the first about 6 to 8 seasons. I just did straight Pharah, man.
Nice. So how many hours would you say you have on Pharah?
Probably like 500.
Nice.
I have a couple gamer tags, and they all have like 300 hours on Pharah. So I've played a lot of hours with Pharah because she's so fun. She flies.
Dude, she
flies. She's so fun.
She flies and
shoots rockets, right? Yeah. So
awesome. She flies and shoots rockets.
And then you don't have to.
Can you give us some tips? Because I'm gonna be a nerd right now because I want to go home tonight and like there's a few things about Pharah that I know. Yeah, I'm gonna play some Overwatch tonight.
Let me know.
Okay, I'll let you know. So we can be bad together. There's a couple of things about Pharah that I know. After playing her, I think I have maybe 100 hours on Pharah, which to me is a lot, because I don't play Overwatch that much. But she's my favorite character by far. Yeah. And I always strive to kind of pop up behind my enemy group to use her ultimate. But what I found is that everybody's already kind of waiting for it. Especially if they know that I'm using it. So is there like a combo? Obviously, there's the Mercy Pharah combo that you know she helps you out a lot. But is there another way to make her ultimate like more useful?
Yeah, the biggest downfall of her ultimate is she's standing still in the air. She stays still in the air, and everybody just looks up and pours their shots in her, and that's it.
Yeah.
So what you kind of want to do, it depends on your team composition. If there's a Zarya, you want to coordinate with the Zarya. You know, she sucks them all into her ultimate.
I'm going for the Dovestein.
Exactly. So you hide like in a spot where you hide. You're not even like revealing yourself. You wait for her to do that, and then you pop out and do your ultimate. But one of the most efficient ways to do it, in my opinion, is the concussion blast. Oh. You look at your feet. So you're on the ground, right? Yeah. You look at your feet. You shoot the concussion blast.
Which pushes you into the air.
It'll push you like diagonally, like forward and up, and then you jetpack at the same time. So it just creates a motion that makes it hard for people. Like they think you're coming at them, but then when you boost, you kind of just go like that. So they're shooting at you, and then by the time they go like that, it's over. Like you already lit them up. But you can also do it in the air. So if you're gliding in the air and there's like a wall next to you, you can shoot it on the wall, and then it'll push you in towards their direction, and then you just shoot it. So I would say that's the biggest tip I can give into using your ultimate. It really helps out. People don't see it coming.
Yeah, I've never tried that, and it sounds like some like next level fucking shit.
Yeah.
One other thing I think, and I was just me being selfish and wanting to know more about Pharah. I love getting into fights with other Pharaohs. Like that's my shit. Whenever I see another Pharaoh on the map, I'm like, okay, that bitch is mine. And then I start flying around.
And it's so hard.
It's so hard because you're. This is what I call it. It's and I'm old school. You know, I've been here a long time. I call it the Dan Marino effect. I'm watching Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, like, which is the other Pharaoh, go in these directions. So I'm trying to choreograph where she's going to be so that I can launch my rockets in that direction.
Yeah.
Right. And it's hard. So you have to figure out what the best distance is for you to actually be able to hit the other Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And also like hitting like, you know, the rockets if she's close to a wall or if anybody's close to a wall.
Splash damage.
There's splash damage. So, you know, I just watch for that. But is there anything you would advise for that?
Kind of try and predict
mirror match.
Try and predict where like her movement is, because most people just move a certain way. Like they'll just go like left and right.
Yeah, you gotta study how that person.
Yeah, so you have to kind of like feel out the battle and just aim where you think she's gonna be.
Yeah,
and usually that works out for me. You know, just aim where you think she's gonna be, and for the most part, it's like. It's luck and skill. I don't know how to explain it. It's like luck and skill because you're just shooting away. But eventually she'll float right into the shots. But I try and go for what you were talking about. If she's next to a wall or something, usually they'll make that mistake and I'll just shoot the wall and it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
But I also like to go for the mercy, man. You want to go for the mercy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the mercy's a little easier to take out, but you get to keep your mercy.
That's true.
You keep your mercy, you take out their mercy, you're going to win that battle every time. There's times I've solo ulted Pharaohs. Like you said, I've been that guy where I get so frustrated, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to solo ult this Pharaoh because I'm done with her. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah. I just need to wipe her out right now.
There's nothing more satisfying, I don't think, than like destroying a Pharaoh from like literally the other side of the map with a couple of rockets. Like that has got to be one of the most satisfying things because, you know, with Widow, it's okay because Pharaoh's very vulnerable to Widow.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not that satisfying. But to be able to shoot a few rockets and then watch her go boom, and then get hit by one, and then you've already shot one in the other direction, and she starts floating that way. I mean, that to me is one of the best.
Let me tell you, man, the Pharaoh Widow, oh man, she makes your life so hard.
She does.
But you basically you can't fly. Like you can't really be in the air. You can, but you have to use the map, and that's another thing. Like just use the map to your advantage.
Right.
And pretty much use the map to your advantage to get close to her, and then use your concussion blast to sneak up on them because that really it's all about the concussion blast. You want to shoot it at the ground to give you like this weird motion where like your character just goes like that and you jetpack and then they go up. So it just really confuses the player. Like they're trying to track you and then you go up.
The concussion blast.
Yeah.
You shoot it on the ground and that will propulse you or something.
So basically, its initial purpose is to push enemies away. Yeah. So you shoot it at them, and it's like it doesn't damage them; it just pushes them. Like Lucio's boop, you know, the little thing that Lucio does, the exact same thing, but you can do it on the floor, and it pushes yourself. So you can push yourself off objects.
And then you use the jetpack, and you make this diagonal.
Exactly. So you go up. So you go forward and up.
It confuses
people just they don't know what
Makes
to do.
sense.
And then,
I'm gonna try that shit.
Also, when you go up, don't even float up there. Don't even jetpack. So you do that against soldiers. When you go against soldiers and McCree's, that's like your biggest weakness right now, right? That's why I don't really play Pharah as much now. But you want to do the concussion blast, go up, but don't jetpack, and then you start falling down. So their initial instinct is going to be to look up, but by the time they look up, you're already falling down. So it's a mindfuck.
That's gonna be hard for me because, like, again, I've been, old habits die hard.
Yeah.
And my wanting to jetpack as soon as I get in the air is high. Right,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna have to teach myself to not do that. That's a bad habit, I guess.
Yeah, it's a muscle memory.
Yeah, a lot of people give me a hard time because I stick to the ground. People are like, "No, why are you on the ground? Like Farrah's supposed to be in the air." But I don't know. I just like being really low to the ground.
Yeah.
Like it really fakes people out. They forget that she can fly for some reason, and then I'll just use that to my advantage. But
that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's an unorthodox way of playing, and I guess that's the way that pros play. They're not going to prescribe.
Well, you have to be
creative.
Yeah, because you cannot be predictable.
Exactly.
In the game, so it's part of the competitiveness. Now, do you play with your buddies that you used to play pro?
For Overwatch? They tried, but then Fortnite came out. So, so everybody jumped ship from every game. From Fortnite. Destiny, Overwatch to Fortnite, and now they're slowly coming back because I guess they're getting bored. But I mostly just play Fortnite by myself.
That's what I told you.
What?
I said Fortnite's not gonna be here a year from now.
There's gonna be something else. There's gonna be something else.
Yeah, the way that PUBG came and went so fast.
Well, I feel because of Fortnite.
Right, but I feel like Fortnite's gonna suffer from the same.
Well, every game suffers from that. Like Halo also suffer from that, but. But
Halo had a 10-year run.
Yeah, they have such a good model, in my opinion. I might be completely wrong, but it's not about the game. It's about the model that they've implemented. I mean, it's a free game, and then they constantly, they never stop putting content in there. Like you can tell other games are learning from that.
Yeah.
Like I feel like now Destiny is putting out more content than before. Because they wanna capitalize on that model. Everybody now wants to capitalize on that. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but if they continue, like they just launched a new map that's with snow and everything, and it's just if they continue doing that, they're giving the players what they want. The players want new maps. The players want new things. What the players don't necessarily want is the same old stuff over and over again. Exactly, and now they're opening the platform to creators. So you can. I don't know if you saw in the Game Awards, they have this new program. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what's it called. But they have this new program or app or whatever that you can actually kind of create things for Fortnite. So they want to have this kind of open source. It's not open source, but this open thing that, they create the game with the community.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's all about the content. It's like the cliche. Content is king.
Yeah.
And it's like Diablo. Diablo is a 2011-2012 game, Diablo 3. And it's still alive because they keep up creating content. And at a fast pace. There's a season coming out every 2-3 months.
Yeah, and seasons in games are weird nowadays. It's literally just whatever the developer decides the season is going to be.
Yeah.
And they base it off of how quickly I think they can develop new content and also... what is a fair amount of time to give enough players to gather enough points or wins or whatever it is? Like, because then you have like the top players, like the top 1% of all the players that blow through the game, and at some point they get so far ahead of everybody else that everything has to get reset.
Yeah.
It happens on Diablo. There's a leaderboard, right? And after 3 months they have to reset it because these people are way too far ahead. I don't know.
There's also a thing is that. When you get games like Fortnite that are so successful and so huge, when they fall to the second place, for some reason everybody is like, if it's not number one, then it's already forgotten.
It's not good enough.
And it's not like that. I don't expect Fortnite to be at the top forever, but disappearing, literally saying, I don't think so. It's gonna stay for a while.
I think a lot of the success has to do where it's free for all. You
It's
don't
the
need
business
teammates.
model. It's the model that they implemented. I think that's part of the success.
And people are really taken away with, I mean, it's kind of wacky. I'm not a big Fortnite fan, but I think it's insane how you can run around and build a wall, build ramps, and then you get into this structure battle of who can build the biggest thing the fastest or fake each other out. Like, because I know you can do like little doors and stuff to go through the walls. And that's insane. Like, that blew my mind when I saw that. And it really sets people apart.
And it's how friendly it is also.
And accessible.
It's very accessible.
I know
and very
6-year-old
friendly.
kids playing Fortnite.
Even with the dance moves.
Exactly.
Dance moves and everything. That is really appealing.
Yeah. They managed to make Fortnite pop culture.
It's a meme.
Yeah.
Fortnite is a meme.
It's a meme.
It's
It's
just a
pop
huge
culture.
fucking meme.
It's not like PUBG or anything. It's just PUBG is it's very niche. They kept being very niche. Fortnite, on the other hand, they managed to create something. Maybe it's because of how it looks and the mechanics are more friendly. I don't know.
Does Fortnite have seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, of course.
It does. I don't really play it just because it drives. I don't have that much patience. So I hate the fact that you have to land and build up the wood and look for guns. No, man, just throw me in there with a weapon already and let's get to the objective.
Yeah, that's why you love Overwatch and Halo, because
it's very fast paced.
Well, I mean, Halo you do have to find the guns, but in Overwatch it's just these are your abilities, these are your skills. You have everything you need.
Here's the goal.
Here's the goal. Go for it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
It's that constant like. You know, I'm not guy that sacrifices himself for the greater cause in the video games. I would do that in Halo. You know, like I'd bait myself to get them to do something for our teammates to just clean up everybody.
Well, that's awesome.
You can't do that in Fortnite. In Fortnite, you have to stay alive.
Yeah.
You have to stay alive, and
it's about surviving, like last man standing.
And then you have to wait for your teammates. You know, it's like, oh man.
Well, talking about finding guns in game and finding stuff in game, let's talk a little bit about play to win, okay? Because this is a sore subject for a lot of people, and loot boxes and shit like that. So there are a lot of games out there where you don't need to pay anything to win. And a lot of games people have started to make them where you can get a lot of the stuff that you need to win through just excessive playing. EA, right? But I mean, I play a lot of Hearthstone. Activision. I play a lot of Hearthstone, which is owned by Activision Blizzard. And, you know, they have Activision Blizzard knows very well the psychology of their consumer.
Well, I mean...
And it is psychology in its most finite form. It's psychology.
Do you have phone?
Don't you have phones? Okay, so they know the psychology of their consumers, but maybe they don't know their ultimate motivation. We're talking about Diablo Immortal, which was a complete disaster. It hasn't even come out yet, and it's already a disaster. But like I play Hearthstone, for example. Hearthstone has monthly like seasons, basically. Now, if you're just getting into Hearthstone now, you start at level 50, and between 50 and 25, you earn a ton of packs. You can earn I've basically calculated it. Between the goal that you earn from 50 to 25 and all the packs and cards that they give you, I mean, you can create a really good deck that can take you to Legend if you really wanted to without spending a dime.
Yeah.
Mind you have to be dedicated to the game and play it. But there aren't a lot of games out there like that anymore. Like if you want to win, like you were just telling me in Odyssey, right? So tell me what happened with Odyssey.
It's crazy because it's a great game. Mechanics are awesome. The innovation that they brought to the franchise, not as a game, because it's just an RPG. It's the first time they went full on RPG in the franchise. It's very good. The characters are likable, especially Cassandra. I mean, if you're playing, I think I already said this before in another episode.
You said play the girl.
Play the girl. That's way better.
I always play girl characters in game.
Yeah, me too.
That's why I love Farah.
Play the girl. It's the same story, but it's a better character, better acting, and better everything. But thing is, with the game, it's frustrating to me at least. It's very tedious because the progression in the game, in the story, it stalls a lot. You have a constant wall because you're not at the level to continue. So the game forces you to do a lot of side quests and side shit in the map in order to level up to continue the story.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one of the last time I played, and this is weird because I usually don't play for this amount of time continuously. Like I play like for a couple of hours and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, a couple weekends ago, I played like for 7 hours straight, and I only went like 2 level ups, like 2 or 3 level ups, and constantly doing side quests for me to continue the story. And it really feels that they're forcing you to buy the boost in the game for you to continue the story. It really feels like it's designed for you. Hey, yeah, you're going slow, but we have this. You can buy it for real money, and you can continue and be faster and finish it. So it really sucks. I mean, those kind of things. It's a great game overall, but those kind of things.
But it has a pay gate.
Are the things that I hate. In games. That's why I mean. With this game Anthem, I'm really iffy because EA,
EA loves to do that.
Yeah, they love to just.
Anthem will be out next year.
Next year, I hear that's gonna replace Destiny.
It's the answer from EA to Activision on Destiny, but I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, everybody is hyped, but at the same time, everybody's worried because EA has been, Battlefield 5 was. It wasn't that great. That's successful. Still have the microtransaction shit. Then they had before the Battlefront 2.
I was going to say Battlefront 2 with Star Wars.
Star Wars,
that was crazy.
What happened?
And I don't understand. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why they continue doing this. Like they have enough data to say, hey. This is not what gamers want. This is, Battlefront was a disaster. Battlefield has been not that great.
They still make money.
Immortal, but
it's about profit. It's about shareholders. It's about the bottom line.
But I remember, like in Battlefield, things are gonna be changing. I think then. Because Battlefield 5, the big disappointment in Battlefield 5 now. Is that it didn't make that many sales.
Right. It wasn't like Battlefront 2.
It kind of bombed.
Star Wars that sold them like 1 million copies.
Yeah, it sold a lot and then it was a disaster. And then you got Fallout 76.
Oh my god. Were you the one telling me that? Because I went to GameStop, by the way. I just bought a PlayStation VR, which is going to be our next episode. By the way, I bought a VR. But I wasn't standing in the line and they had a lot of people there looking for Fallout 76. But not in the way that I thought they were.
Well, let me tell you this.
They were returning.
So we can go back to our topic of esports.
Yeah.
let me tell you this. So we can go back to the topic. I went, because my cousin in VR, he wanted Fallout 76. And even though he knows it's a crappy game, glitchy, not complete game, whatever, he wants it. I went to GameStop. And there weren't actually, all the copies were sold out. New copies. All they had was used.
Because everybody was returning it.
Everybody was trading in the copies. So, and they had a bunch.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
What about microtransactions in Overwatch?
What do you think about that?
I'm guilty. I bought
Ditto.
I'm guilty. And
I bought all the Florida Mayhem shit. Like all of them. Like for every character I have.
And I usually just buy it because the seasons are not long enough.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So like let's say for example the winter season right now is awesome. But a skin's like 3,000 credits.
Right.
And you have to put in a lot of work, man. Like I have to work 40 hours a week. Like, I don't have the time to put in the work to get all the skins. So usually
I guess that's my answer. Usually why they continue doing it.
Because usually what I do is it's $25 I think for 20 boxes or something like that. Or $20 for 25 bucks or something like that. And it's like, okay, I got 25 chances to get something new. Now, the game does a really good job at not giving you repeated things.
Right.
And if you do get repeated things, they give you points.
You get gold.
You get like gold, so you can actually buy things you don't have. But for the most part, I usually get, for $20, I usually get 25 boxes and I get the skins that I want. Like every event.
Blizzard has a good algorithm for, it's called like the pity meter. Like if you haven't gotten something in a while, you will get something. Like, and they do it in Hearthstone too. When you start opening packs, like if you open 50 packs and you've opened 10 packs and you haven't gotten a legendary, there's a high chance that you will get a legendary in the next pack. And then once you've gotten one, it resets so that you go and then because it's random, you know. But it knows because I've opened 50 packs before and gotten 6 legendaries, and I've opened 50 packs before and gotten 2. And I've written emails like, what the fuck? You know? And they're like, so sorry. You just had bad luck. Here, have a legendary on us. They've literally given me a legendary before because they're like, you had bad luck and here's a legendary. So they know. Like
That's gambling.
It's kind of
really
gambling.
It really is.
It is. It's the Skinner box method.
You're paying. It's the same thing as a slot machine. Like I'm putting in money and hoping I'm gonna win. $100,000, you know.
But you don't really need to do that. It's just you guys that you like to have those cosmetics, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to what Alan was saying earlier. We don't need the skins to be better at the game.
It doesn't help you in any way.
It doesn't help you in any way. I mean, even if you're on a snow map and you want like a white widow, like great, you know, you're still not going to stand out because I mean, the chances of you blending into the terrain are very slim.
The slim.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
So yeah.
Now, going back to esports and all of this, what do you think? Do you see the Game Awards?
No, actually, I didn't get to go.
So I noticed that in the Game Awards, I don't know if this is the first year. Maybe I might be wrong, but I felt like esports was really big this year.
It's getting bigger.
It's getting bigger, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What's your opinion on how? Because I mean, you haven't been pro for a while. Right?
Yeah.
And now like. In the last 3 years, it's been like such a boom.
We were talking about this before we walked in here because we're like, we both should have been born like now.
I feel like I was born too soon, man,
Yeah.
because I wish I would have had the opportunity that a lot of kids have nowadays. It's insane, you know, with the Twitch and the streaming, you have a lot of ways.
Do you stream?
No, but I want to. I'm looking towards the streaming.
Awesome.
There's a lot of ways.
Well, No Name Games is going to sponsor your stream.
Yeah, that's it. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. You let me know. I'll come in here, do some streams, and I'm pretty entertaining.
I think so.
I think I'm pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, you have a Cowboy Bebop shirt on. That's entertaining already enough. So I mean, our audience is going to love that.
But I think a lot of people have the opportunity to make a living off it, man. Like Ninja. Look at Ninja playing with Drake, getting 500,000 viewers one night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just depends on how you dedicate yourself and apply to the things we talked about in this podcast, which is dedication, you know, learning from your mistakes, always trying to get better, not just repeating things over and over again. You want to learn from your mistakes, analyze your gameplay, and I think it's a good time for esports, and it's heading into a crazy direction. I see it now on ESPN. I saw the Overwatch finals on ESPN.
Yeah, Overwatch.
Oh, really?
ESPN.
On ESPN.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and the Overwatch stage is so cool. I always say this. Dude, it is like, it reminds me when I was a kid watching like The Running Man with like Arnold Schwarzenegger or like, you know, all these futuristic movies about like these contests that they were having. Like we're living in that day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's it's a really cool time to be alive.
So do you have kids? Are you married?
No, I don't have any kids. No.
Okay, so but hypothetically speaking, you have a kid. And the kid, well, you have a kid.
Yeah, I don't have to speak in hypotheticals. I can tell you exactly
Manfred
how it
has
is.
a kid. So let's say your kid it's interested in gaming as you are, and then he's interested in all these leagues and being a professional athlete,
right?
In gaming. What would you just push him to do it, or would you have some?
I would,
because you have your negative experience too.
I do too. I would talk to him about. Well, what I would tell him is this: it's great to be able to do what you love and make money from it. You know, because I think that's everybody's dream.
Yeah,
you know, is to combine your passion with
like us here.
With exactly. This is why we're doing this, because we're getting so much money to do this. But the truth is, if my son said to me, you know what, Dad, I want to go to college on a scholarship to play X game, I would be like, great. I'm glad that you have a goal. Like, I think that's great that you want to do something. Let's talk about how to get you there. Let's talk about, you know, some of the things that you might see, some pitfalls. You know, regardless of what you want to do in life, if you want to take something to the next level, like I said, you can apply so many things to that. The type of training you're going to need, the type of relationships that you're going to build, you know, what to watch out for, how to take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things that matter to somebody when they're trying to embark on this mission. And I think today is one of the best days to be alive, because I was telling Diga the other day, and you may not know this, but
I'm F-Coast.
F-Coast, sorry. Diga is his real name. The state of Alabama has decided that they are going to start giving scholarships to student athletes for video games.
Yeah. I saw something like that in Arizona too.
Yeah.
Where it's just, you get a scholarship and they have like, you know, just like your chess club or like the swimming team. Or they have teams for video games for scholarships. That's huge.
That's so good.
That's so huge.
So yeah, if my son can get money for playing a game to go to school, sign me up too. I'll go back to school.
Well, I mean, it's money.
Yes.
Money has to do
Dad,
with
put
it.
the controller down. If you don't know what you're doing, I'll be like, come on, Sonny.
My main thing is that, and I was talking about this with Ivan the other day. Ivan is my boss here at my job. So I was talking to him. It's like, we're done. I mean, we are dinosaurs. And we kind of tend to try to raise our kids how we were raised.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, the values are one thing, but this whole thing of, you know, I grew up, you know, playing basketball.
Right, me too.
And
Baseball.
you are playing video games. That's not right.
Yeah.
You know, everything at an extreme is bad. I have to say that.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance.
But we're dinosaurs now, and we shouldn't be blocking kids now.
No.
Because we didn't have that before.
Right.
Or we weren't raised with that. Not, you know.
Well, I was kind of like on video games since I was like a little kid.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was
But
addicted.
now it's a different thing.
But
Because now it's
totally
online, now
different
it's competitive, now is...
That's why,
No,
Alan, you may not
the
know this,
sport.
but one of the first things that I connected with FCOS on was I wanted to put a team together here in Miami, just a team that could play all kinds of games, not just like Overwatch or Halo, but like and a team that could train other people as well. Like, could you imagine like a Hispanic gaming school? Like, I think that to me would be amazing, or maybe not even Hispanic, like just a gaming school, you know, where, you know, you kind of said it, even though I don't believe you. I still think that there's a lot of gaming left in you professionally if you wanted to do it. But if you wanted to coach somebody, who else would be the best coach than somebody that had just finished, you know, playing Halo at a high level,
Let's do that.
at a high level? You know, so that's what we want to do. We want to bring people into this.
No name school of gaming.
And the reason it's no name games is because if you look at the list of any tournament over time, there's always going to be a team there called no name.
Oh, really?
Always. There's always a team that competes that doesn't have a name. That's us.
That's us.
You know, funny story. That's what I would do when I would lose my matches at the tournaments. Because every team, you're allowed to have a coach.
Yeah.
And even though I was a player and I wasn't technically supposed to be coaching, I would just sneak in and like get a coach's wristband and like coach whatever team. Or I had a lot of buddies that if I get eliminated, I would go coach their team. And man, I love it. It's so much fun. It's because it's different. It's, you see everyone doing, you know, you just coach them. I don't know how to explain it. Just like the NBA, you see formations in the NFL. You tell them, okay, next time do this because I already noticed that the other guy keeps going here.
Right.
So you're going to stop him from going here and hold this spot down. You guys got this, you know. Yeah. Or even timing the rockets. Because remember, you're playing the game and you lose track of time and like rockets or sniper or sword, in Halo at least, they fall at a certain time. So I would manage the clock for them. Yeah. So they just focus at what's going on the screen. Don't worry about the clock. Yeah. So I'll tell them 30 seconds, the sniper's coming out. So everybody knows, hey, in 30 seconds,
you're gonna get
a huge battle
weapon.
that's about to happen for the sniper, and we all have to be there. You not have to be in the corner, you know, eating shit, not helping out your team. We all have to be here. And, you know,
and that's a victory, right? Like once your team gets the sniper rifle and you guys can back up and like hold a position with the sniper rifle.
Or even
like,
the overshield. The camo, exactly. Setting up for the camo. That was so huge. So tell me, hey guys, camo in 30 seconds.
I love that. But the best is the banana peeler. Because there was a map on Halo 1 that we would set up a custom map. It's called the Chirone. Okay? And the Chirone okay, is just a bunch of fucking portals, right? That lead nowhere. They lead to each other, right? So we would just sit in front of the portal with the fucking banana peeler, waiting for our friends to come through. You were killed by Donkey Dick. You were killed by Chancleta. You know, and I mean, it was not fun. It was just like a meme. But yeah, those were the good old days. So if you're interested in coaching, I think that would be.
Oh yeah,
cool.
man. I have a question for you too.
Yeah.
So you as a gamer and coach, like an athlete and coach, and you as a parent, what would be the advice for kids that are interested in being esport athletes? You as a gamer, as an esport athlete, I want to say, and you as a parent, because there's those two sides,
different dynamics. Yeah.
So you first, Alan.
As the biggest part, and I didn't do this, is just make sure you balance your life. Make sure you get exercise, make sure you eat healthy, because I didn't do those things, and I actually really lost myself. Like, I gained a lot of weight, I didn't feel healthy, and actually, surprisingly, the good gamers are usually in shape.
Yeah.
You know, it really, when you run, it really just makes you feel better, you operate better. Maybe pick up like a hobby, like a guitar. You know, I played guitar and I felt like I was the best gamer when I would play guitar, because I would always be using my fingers and it would translate to the controller, you know. So the biggest part is just don't try and get sucked in too much into it. Always make time for your friends and family, which I didn't. And, I learned that the hard way, and I made those adjustments in the future. But I wish somebody would have told me this. Like, hey, don't let this completely take over your life. At some point, yeah, you do need to put in X amount of hours and X amount of dedication into it. You just don't game 20 hours a day and only sleep 4 hours. Like, it's really not healthy for you. Yeah, and you might be the best gamer in the world, but your body can only handle so much.
Yeah.
You know, and I did that to myself, and luckily I was able to get out of it, and I built good habits, and I got rid of those old habits. But balance is key, and balance will make you a lot better gamer than you really think.
That's really good advice.
Excellent advice. Well, just to piggyback on that advice, we had a show about food in games.
Oh yeah.
And our advice to gamers was to have a balanced diet.
Like us, that we're having pizza.
We're having pizza right now. Well, it's cheat day. It's cheat day. But that's so true. I mean, and as a parent, I would also say that to my kid. I would say, look, you're gonna play this game for an extended amount of time. You can do it now that you're young, okay? But don't let yourself go. Don't let yourself go. Keep yourself up physically and health wise. And this is something that I mentioned in a previous podcast before, and you guys may know this already as gamers. But I use the example of Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen is the top chess player in the world, and he says that the most important part of his training is playing soccer. So he goes out and plays soccer and runs miles and miles and miles and expends all this energy, but it helps him stay physically fit because he has to sit at a table for 12 hours against, Hideko, whatever the American chess player's name is, and battle him for 12 hours. And if you don't have your body in good physical shape, your brain starts to break down. Like, your mental state starts to degenerate. So you have to have that physical ability. Before Magnus Carlsen, which I didn't mention before, was the #1 chess champion of the United States. His name was Bobby Fischer. Okay? And Bobby Fischer was trained by Olympic boxers.
Oh wow.
He had an entire workout regimen where they would make him swim, 50 laps. He would have to float himself to the bottom of the pool and hold his breath. Like, the guy was like in peak physical shape when he was going into these tournaments, and everyone else was just playing chess. While he was playing chess, of course, practicing chess, but also being in shape physically, training. So I would echo that advice. I would say it's all about a balance.
Yeah.
You may think that putting 20 hours into the game and sleeping 4 is good. And yeah, sometimes you will have a night or a few nights where you have to do it because, you're in the zone. But remember that it's just going to catch up to you. And that day that you have to have that tournament where you didn't get sleep or you partied, the night before and it caught up to you, you're going to see the results in your gameplay.
And what would you say to parents? Because to parents nowadays, this might be very weird that their kids are interested in being esport athletes.
Yeah, a lot of parents are against this, and I understand why. And what I hear from parents that are against it is that that their kids are not socializing.
Yeah. So
let me tell them right there that they're wrong. Like, it's one of the most social things that you can do because you're actually playing with thousands and thousands of people and you're talking. So you're not. It's not social. It is hyper social. because it is the bombardment of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Versus,
but it's not personal.
But it's not personal.
That's the issue.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not face to face. We're looking at each other and talking. And
but you can still create a bond with people.
Yeah,
like
of course.
This,
like
Alan has.
I do.
Like I have. I mean,
it was weird. I'm not weird, but
Yeah.
it was surprising to me because from my perspective, me being a lame gamer and not an athlete at all, I would if I had that opportunity or that interest in the past, I would have called my buddies. Like I would have called my cousin and my best friend, and I will just tell him, hey, get this game, let's get on it. But this guy, Alan met everybody online.
Yeah.
And now they're like very good friends.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my WoW guild. Like, I met them playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
We met in Anaheim at BlizzCon, and we hung out at BlizzCon, and we became really great
That's
friends
really
to this
cool.
day. You know, so
it's very social.
So it's very social in that way. Yeah, are you playing basketball with your neighbor? Maybe not, but maybe your neighbor's a dick. So who cares? Like, you know, it's not about like forcing these relationships to happen. It's about understanding that people today form relationships and bonds through a lot of different mediums, and not just through personal physical contact. Granted, there is something to be said about it, you know, and I'm not saying that that's not the best way. That's how I met all my friends and girlfriends, and for the most part was going to school and talking to them and hanging out at night and meeting people. But today things are different. So what I would say to parents is this: just monitor your children's time. Like, they're your kids. You have control over what they do.
Exactly.
If you feel like your kid's playing too many video games, you can tell him, hey, you're not an adult yet. If you want to play games 12 hours a day, you're going to have to get a job. So go ahead and get a job, and then you can do whatever you want. And then when you start paying rent under this roof that I pay for, you can do whatever you want. You paying rent here? This is your room. Go for it. That's what I would say. Add some personal responsibility to it so that they understand that the reward is playing the game, right? And that they have to have that responsibility, as opposed to just the free-for-all that most kids have, which is just, I'm just going to play games so my parents tell me to stop. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it bothers me when
it's about
parents. Yeah, it bothers me when parents are like, "Oh, this kid, it's playing like bloody games or violent games." Yeah, you got the game for him.
Right, you bought it. You bought that game for him, or you gave them the money to buy it.
Yeah, it's
know?
not like he's not independent. He's a kid. Right. And the other thing is like, sit down with your kid and talk to him and ask him, "What are you playing? What is this? Why are you doing
Why is
this?
it good? Why is it bad?"
I mean, yeah, and I've seen, like, in front of me, that when you actually interact with the kids, they're like on the screen and you actually talk to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they open up and they start, you know, socializing with you, if you will.
One of the things that I would like to add to the parents portion of it is, so you asked me if I had kids, right? Technically, I don't have kids, but I'm dating my girl. And she has 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't let them. They don't play shooting games. They play Marvel vs. Capcom. So it's like a fighting game, right? So one of the biggest things that I would tell parents is just support your kid. If you really see he's very passionate about it, support him. You know, go to the tournaments with him. Don't just drop him off. Like, stay there.
Yeah,
and
right.
Support him, because I
share
really
this
wish
with your kid.
There were many times where I did really good, and I really wish my parents were there to see me and be proud of me. I have trophies. I have trophies at home for Halo, for like all Halo tournaments. And I really wish I was there to share that moment with my parents, and they weren't there because they were against it.
Yeah.
You know, my mom would be like, "Oh, you're wasting your time." And
Ese muchacho tiene un vicio.
Yes. Yeah, bro. She would. It would be like,
we said all these things before.
It would be 11 o'clock at night, and she'd like unplug the modem. Or like in the middle of like, oh my god, I'm playing the best team in the world right now, and she just did that. There's no way. How do I explain this to my teammates? And I've like almost gotten dropped from teams because of it. But just understand at what level your kids are playing. Is it recreational? Is it professional? And pretty much just support them. Go to the tournaments with them. Share those moments with them, because it's gonna mean a lot to them, man. When they get that win, they're gonna look for you in the crowd, you know. And I saw a lot of the pro players like Ninja and people that are really up there. Their parents were there to share their success with them, and I really think that's a very important part of, you know, hey, I'm playing here and my mom's in the crowd, and I'm gonna win this for my mom, you know, really for yourself, but it's motivational, you know.
If you have the support, it makes a world of difference,
and it makes a world of difference.
So. You know what's the problem though for us as Hispanics, like. Even more so, I think that Hispanic parents, and we've said this before, they're very jaded when it comes to video games and just technology in general. Like, my mom didn't understand the concept behind World of Warcraft. I tried explaining it to her 100 times, and my mom's a very smart woman. It's just that she didn't understand why I was spending so much time playing it. And I'm like, well, because it's a team thing, and I'm organizing 40 players to do this objective. It didn't matter to her. Yeah. All she saw was that I was just spending an inordinate amount of time wasting my time playing video games. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if my mom would have said at one point, I want to support you in this, it would have changed my trajectory probably completely.
Yeah. Well, I never had that. Well, my mom, I'm not going to say that my mom understood video games. Not at all. It was the same case. She thought I was wasting my time, that I was being stupid. Yeah. But I never was like that much of a hardcore game. I mean, I always liked playing games. But by the time I was 12, my mom told me that I was too old for video games. Right. So
when you were actually at the perfect age to start playing. Yeah.
So, and then when I had when I had my PC, she was like, she thought I was just wasting my time, but I was never that hardcore. I've been always like a very casual player, and never spent like more than 2-3 hours. Actually, when I was like 15, I decided to delete all my games from the PC and just focus on just focus on programming. I guess that was a
good thing to do.
So I was never that. I mean, I always liked it. I always loved it. Yeah. Even more after I did my computer animation degree, which was when my mom kind of understood more of that. Yeah. And she completely supported me in coming to the U.S. and do a computer animation degree. But I have to say, she saw it more as, because she was watching the Pixar movies, right? Yeah. And she was watching this animation.
By then, it was a little bit more
different
prevalent.
Perspective. Yeah. So, but now I think my mom and my family in general, they understand more the passion for games, because they saw I did a degree. Right. It's a different perspective. But I never went through the hardcore gaming thing and having a reaction towards that. No, I was never.
I definitely got the backlash, kind of like that. But well, with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up today. So again, we just wanted to thank Xambler / Alan for being here today. Thank you so much. It was awesome talking to you and learning from you. We're definitely gonna try out all those tips. Want to have you back here again with